This is absolutely fantastic. I love this. Oh wow, look at me there. Oh well, I'm a bit serious. There it is. Yeah. Oh, that's serious. Wow, you guys, this is amazing. Look at this room of incredible people. I'm so glad you could all make it out here. In fact, I think I've seen a few of you guys on the virtual things as well. I see some familiar faces around. So, hey, thanks for coming out. What an amazing day, and I'm sure you guys are already pumped for a huge day. So, I guess I'm first cab off the rank, right?
You're the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Setting the bar.
Setting the bar. We're going to set it high.
Set it too high. That's what I like to do.
Not like last night high. I'm talking.
Thank you on such short notice. By the way, this is amazing that you were able to.
I mean, let's why don't we just talk about that for a little moment? I feel terrible for Sox. He obviously got COVID, so he was unable to come out, and I think he's very disappointed because. To come out here and feel his energy of all these people who really adore the show is a real treat for someone to come out from Australia and enjoy this. So I'm disappointed for Sox, but yeah, I was able to. I'm actually a US citizen as well as an Australian citizen. I have two passports. So yeah,
right? And I do love your acting. But one of my favorite scenes was when you pissed yourself outside of that club.
It's funny, that's my favourite scene too.
Who are you more afraid of, Ferguson, Turk, or Vera?
Oh, yeah, wow.
Pretty curious.
Well, we're going deep real early, right? We're going on a deep dive right here.
What you got for me?
Oh, man. I think Vera is I think he was scared of Vera in a certain way, but also, I wouldn't call it, he was too scared of her. I mean, she could be fierce, right? And
she definitely grew into those pants.
Yes. Oh yeah. The big girl pants with the clip-clop heels and stuff, flopping around the prison. Yeah. And Turk was another thing as well, right? I mean, obviously that was the whole thing about, he had a gun stuffed in his mouth and.
Yeah, that's enough to make you piss yourself.
Oh yeah. I can't say that from experience, but maybe you can. But that's another story. No. And tech guys, I'm not going to do a mic drop at all. Okay, so I wouldn't do it to you. I have more respect. Yeah, but I think Ferguson. I think definitely Ferguson for Jake. The kind of the unknown quantity to Ferguson that you just can't really kind of get a read on her, and I think we sort of over the course of the seasons there was a lot of discussion about what if she was to be psychoanalyzed, what would be the diagnosis. And
she's just crazy as hell. That's about
it. But I think in terms of a diagnosable sense, she's a psychopath, or a sociopath. So. You just don't know, with that sort of a personality, it's so hard, you can't, it's unpredictable, you can't work out what she's going to do next, and then obviously, when you know someone's got a personal vendetta against you, it becomes really scary. And then I think that the thing that compounded that was then when Grace and Jake, when Vera and Jake had baby Grace. And then it changed his kind of whole outlook about, what was, about keeping someone safe, it's all. I think that when we first meet Jake, it's all about himself. He was a sort of a survivor sort of type of person who was only in it for his own personal gain, the whole drug dealing thing and everything. But then when he had baby Grace, I think everything sort of shifted for him. And we saw that we saw that kind of nice transition for Jake into someone who was probably a selfish person to someone who was selfless and wanting to protect his family. You know, even Vera, even though they weren't together anymore, he still wanted to protect her and to protect baby Grace. And I think that was the thing that I think he would have been most frightened about, was Ferguson somehow doing something in revenge to his baby, or to the person that I think he still loves, which is Vera. Does that answer your question?
I'll take it.
All right. Okay.
Great question, thanks a lot. We're going to go over to the right side of the room. We like to start it off with the self-urination question, and then we work up from there.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead in the blue on the right.
Hi, Bernie. I'm Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, I met you on the virtuals.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say I'm always consistently touched by how generous you guys are with your fans, and you show up. So thank you for being here. I know it was last minute, so
thanks,
we're
Alicia.
truly grateful. I'm an actor, and one of the things I always am curious about is, when you're working on a show like this that's so, big and top secret and keeps secrets better than anybody. How is it as an actor? How much do you guys know, and how is it challenging to I guess, create certain things when you don't necessarily, not that you know as the actor where it's going anyway, right? Because the character doesn't.
Yep.
But like in terms of choices you make, if there's not something you're told that would have been useful, is that challenging or so?
It's a great question. Thanks, Alicia. And let me just go back to the very start of what you said when you say you're grateful for what we give to the fans and stuff. I reciprocate that. I feel like, and hopefully all the girls coming up today, we feel grateful to you guys, because without you guys, without all the fans around the world, well, we wouldn't have been able to do 8, 9 seasons of a TV show, right? And we wouldn't be able to come out to these kind of events, because this is what it is. This is what shows us the love that people have for this show, and enduring love. The show is finished, but those people still have that great passion for the show. And I want to just extend my gratitude to everybody here, because without you guys, we didn't have a show. So thank you. And it's a mutual love society, right? So it's coming right back at you. Thank you. On to the next part of the question. Yeah, it was kind of like, as an actor, we would, we've got these scripts to work with, and that's one of the great joys of working on Wentworth, is this, we got given great scripts, right? You can see it on the screen. It's, but it's also a collaborative process, with the head writer, Marcy Gardner. You would get the scripts, and if something didn't quite resonate with you, or you wanted to change something. For instance, there was one line there, the one about when I said, I don't give a shit if it's unicorn jizz, it's still contraband. I actually made that one up myself, because I'm very proud of it. You should be. Right? The original line was, I don't care if it's gnat's piss. Right? Gnat's piss. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really going to give me an image. And I was working through different things that I could say instead of gnat's piss. And I arrived on unicorn jizz. Right? And I got to the scene, and it wasn't actually in the script. I didn't actually make an amendment, because you do an amendment and then everybody gets the amendment. So, now the line's going to be this. It was just on the day. I sort of said, hey, look. In fact, I was talking to Kate Box and Zoe, where we were having a little in the green room. We were talking about it and stuff. And I said, I want to change that line, and that's this one. What do you think of? I don't give a shit if it's unicorn jizz. It's still contraband. And they were like, oh yeah, I like it. That's kind of it works, because it's the kind of thing of like Reb was it's that whole thing of taking something to change, to try to transition from who she was to one to who he should be, to who Reb should be. And I just felt like that unicorn jizz actually fitted quite nicely. Anyway, yeah, right.
You made the right choice.
I made the right choice. That's right. And so. It is a collaborative process, and then it's kind of like, how you guys sit down and you go, I'm going to watch another episode of Wentworth, I wonder what's going to happen now. That's what we would do when we get the scripts, right? You sit in there and read it, and mostly one of the most enduring kind of feelings is, I hope I don't die. Right? You're literally reading through, because it's kind of like the Game of Thrones thing, you know, like Robb Stark or something, you know, you read and go, oh shit, I'm dead. Okay. Alright. That actually happened to me in like the second last episode where I was flicking through and there's a lot of dream sequence. It was written as it actually happens, and then it's only after you've finished reading it that you go, and then Ferguson wakes up from her revelry of, you know, standing next to Jake, and so I thought, oh shit, okay. She's got me, bang, break my neck in the lift and now I'm dead. Oh no, I'm still alive, yay! But it's entertaining because you're reading a screenplay, right? You're like, oh, and you know, people would be sitting in the green room, sitting on their scripts and stuff, and you'd just hear this like, ooh, and they turn and they go, you're a bad motherfucker, right? I'm like, what did I do? Because I hadn't read the script. What did I do? Oh no, I'm not going to tell you what you did. You got to read the script. So we're reading it, going, oh shit, I'm a bad motherfucker. So we go on that journey as much as anybody who watches the show, right? And I actually also like to watch the show with my wife as well, right? So my wife Sonia and I will actually sit and watch the show. And sometimes even she was a bit like, we're sitting next to each other on the couch and she's like, I fucking hate you, right? I'm like, what? She goes, how can you do that to Vera? You're sleeping on the couch. Just doing a job, man. So, you know, we also really enjoy watching the show. But back to the point, you know, when you're reading the scripts, you get this great kind of, you're going on this journey with everybody and you read the scripts. And then we always would have a table read for a block. A block of episodes is 2 episodes, and a director would direct 2 episodes at a time. So you'd have a block read for the 2 episodes in this block that you're going to shoot. And it's a table read, so everybody is sitting around this boardroom table, the whole cast. And I remember Kevin Carlin, who was the original setup director of episode 1, series 1, episode 1, and continued to sort of do the first 2 and usually the last 2 episodes of a season. He would always say, all right, welcome everybody to the table read, and to the actors, if I can just ask you to do, what is it, approximate performance pitch. Which means, go for it, you know what I mean? Like we were sitting around a table, and then there's boomers sitting up going, fuck you, you fucking, you know, standing up, whatever, and, you know, people screaming at each other and stuff. So he said, if we can try and approximate performance pitch, rather than just screaming, read, we're reading it with gusto, or reading it, putting it into, you know, the energy that it requires into, you know, each kind of scene. So, again, we got to sort of listen to the scripts as everybody's reading them and performing them, and then you get to the set and you also do rehearsals, and then you get to the set and you shoot it. So, you know, it is a pretty long process of developing a particular scene from when you read it, you know, when it's written, obviously, and then you read it, and then you have a table read, and then you rehearse it, and then you get to the set, and then you're ready to go and you shoot the scene. So often that process was put in place so that you didn't get to set and go, now, I just don't know if I should say this at this time, and no. You've ironed all that out, so when you get to set, you're away you go. And then of course, yes, it's hard to sort of keep it all under wraps, you know. Sometimes I would sort of be reading my script in bed with my wife next to me, and I'm going, ooh, and she's like, don't fucking tell me what happens. I don't want to know. You know, spoiler alert. So it sometimes is a bit difficult to try and to keep it in. If there's something that's like, wow, that's an incredible moment, you know, like you go, oh, I just have to wait until that gets on the screen and see what the reaction's going to be, you know. But
as a fan watching this show, I mean, maybe you all can agree with me. I hated Jake. I'm like, God, this guy sucks. Like, Fletcher was bad, but he was the least tolerable.
Yeah.
At one point, maybe you loved Jake from the start. Is there a point where, when you're reading your script, you're like, okay, I kind of like this guy? Because, like me, I wanted to hate him.
Yeah.
And he was really hard to hate those final few seasons.
Right. That's thanks for the question. That was one of the great things about playing Jake, right? And so I was actually living in Los Angeles with my family, you know, kind of working as an actor, and I did this self-tape audition for this thing. I had not even seen any of Wentworth, and already there were 3 seasons that were out there. I had to actually ask my brother, who's also an actor, I said, what's this Wentworth thing like? And he goes, well, he's an actor and he's a very good barometer of these sorts of things. He said, well, I thought that, when they were saying they were going to remake or reimagine Prisoner, I thought they could fuck this right up, and this could be really shit. But he said it's actually really good. This is a good show, and it's really highly, the critics really love it as well. It's really highly acclaimed and critically acclaimed. So I came out to do the show, and I had the first meeting with Pino, who's the producer, and Marcia, who's the head writer, and she was really excited. She said, I love this Jake character. He's great, man. Because I only had the audition scenes and the character breakdown. That's all I really knew about Jake. And they sat me down and walked me through from season 4, episode 5, I think I come in, right through to the end of the season, and I'm like, holy shit! Wow, I didn't realise that this was where Jake was going, and then into season 5, it really, went to the next level, and so initially I was like, oh god, I'm going to struggle doing all this stuff because he's such an asshole. It's really some of the stuff that he does is really reprehensible. Loathsome kind of selfish behaviour, and I really had to act, of course. I did it, and one of the kind of compliments I used to get, and I would take it as a compliment, was people coming up to me in the street going, I hate you, right? And I'm like, I'll take that as a real compliment, because that was my job. My job was to be this real asshole who's like, you don't really like much. So I felt like I had sort of fulfilled that brief, because people coming up saying, I hate you, man, you're the worst. Like, how can... And then, but it meant that there was a reaction, you know what I mean? If people just kind of went, oh, there's that guy from Wentworth, he's a bit blah, and, I don't really have anything to say to him, I would feel like that's it, like I haven't really kind of succeeded in my job, But they, when people come and they go, I've got to tell you how much I hate you, I've got to come up and tell you how much I hate you. I'm like, great, thanks. Thank you. It's a rare thing if people come up saying they hate you, is you going, thanks, thank you very much. Good, nice compliment. But I think there was an obvious point at which, we see Jake, like I was saying before, shift, and they were saying, look, this is a story of redemption. We do want to redeem Jake, and we want him to shift his focus and his priorities and what he really wants in life from serving himself, self-serving, all that sort of stuff, to then being someone who is doing, protecting other people and being selfless in that situation. So I think obviously the moment that he found out that Vera was pregnant, obviously there was a lot of conflict in that, because she actually hated him, right? And she's like, we're having a baby, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to be a father, but then having to go through that whole pregnancy, knowing that the partner that you've had, that you're going to have a child with, loathes you, is tricky, right? So it was. I think for Jake, it was he changed that focus, that priority, to then I think he wanted to redeem himself in Vera's eyes, and that's part of what we see in Jake's redemption, is that he wanted to be seen in Vera's eyes as the sort of the type of person that can be a father to Grace. Even if they're not together, he can still be a father, and he can still be part of her life, both of their lives. And so that, I think, was for Jake's focus and Jake's sort of change of heart to have his different ideals.
Dottie, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hi, Dottie.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for sharing your art.
Cheers.
And I've had a question, because you've worked in different productions across the globe, what can you tell us about production in country in Australia versus here in North America? What can you tell us about Hollywood versus Australian productions?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of cool little stories, experiences about that. So it does differ. The production process is pretty much the same of television. Let's just talk about the television. it is a process of, the process of rehearsing and getting to set and everything is pretty much the same. There are a few key differences. And one of them is, and I learned this when I came out here for the first time. In fact, the first year we lived in LA, I didn't work on one production, so I was like, I'm not even sure if I'm any good, right? Am I good enough to survive in this town? So Hollywood itself as an industry can be brutal. Like it's, people say, oh, it's a glamorous Hollywood and stuff. It's a grind. It's a really hard work. It's hard work of constant self-evaluation. Am I good enough? Am I working hard enough? Am I doing enough to get through? And then that whole thing of like you do audition after audition after audition after audition, and you're just knocking your head against the wall until that mortar starts to get loose, and then a brick starts to kind of fall away and you can get through. And constantly being told, no, you're not good enough. You're not good enough to get that role or that role or that role. And dealing with that and processing that is like, that's universal, no matter whether you're in Australia or LA. But in LA, I found like you do a lot more auditioning because that's kind of the centre of the world for casting. No matter if stuff shoots in Atlanta or in Toronto or wherever, it's still cast out of LA. So that's where the hard work goes on of casting these productions. So you do a lot more auditioning in LA than you do in Australia. Australia is you don't do that much auditioning. So I felt like part of the thing that I got, the benefit that I got of living in LA for 5 years was you become a weapon at auditioning. You're working that muscle so much that you come back into Australia and you just knock them out the park every time. You walk into that audition room and you just own the space, and that resonates with the casting director. So that experience you have of just doing it over and over and over again makes you a better actor, makes you a stronger actor and a stronger person. But my first experience coming over here, one of the key differences is what's called stand-ins. So, you would, and the actor would go to the set, and you would block the scene out. Okay, you're going to do this, and you're going to walk over to the sink, you're going to pour yourself a glass, you're going to smash the glass over someone's head, or whatever you're going to do. You block the scene. And then as they light, once they've figured out what they're going to do, the camera department, the lighting and stuff, they go in there and they light, and they kind of set it all up, and then the art department sets it all up and everything. That sometimes takes half an hour, sometimes takes longer, sometimes takes less, but in America there's a thing called stand-ins, so they would have people come in and to stand in the spot that you're going to be on the set, so they can light for you. And they can actually cast these stand-ins to be the same height, same skin colour, so they can light that person in the situation of the scene, and then they call that second team, and then they go, okay, now we're ready for first team. The first team comes in, and then you shoot the scene. You don't have that in Australia, right? You got to stand there by yourself, or sometimes a crew member will stand there or whatever if they really need you to stand there, right? So I get out here on my first production, which is a thing called Hit the Floor. It was my very first US production, and I'm like really excited to be there. I'm like, yeah, I got a gig in LA, and I'm on my way. So I get to the set, and we rehearse his first scene and block it out on the set, on the set. And this guy comes over to me, taps me on the shoulder, and says, Hey, buddy, Bernie, I'm Jason, I'm your stand-in. And I'm like, oh, hey, man, that's cool, I'll do it. No worries, man. I'll stand here, I'll be fine. You go and relax. And he's looking at me like, that's my job. So, because I'm like, hey, you go relax, man, I'll do it, I'll stand here. It's like, well, if you do that, then I don't have a job and I'll get fired, And you kind of had to explain that to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, man, you stand there. I thought I was doing him a favour by saying, no, man, you go. I could have got him fired for doing that, So you sort of have to go off to your old trailer and sit there and do whatever while they're lighting the scene and stuff. And I would usually just sort of sit around watching, because when I do some acting teaching, and I always tell my students, learn as much as you can about everything on the set. Learn. If you get a chance to be on a set and you're acting, you do your acting. A lot of people just leave, they just take off. Stay there. Watch what the camera department's doing. Watch what audio's doing with the microphone, and then kind of learn. And it's the thing that I call set craft, which is not just about knowing how to be an actor and how to create a character and process a script and that sort of stuff. That's the acting part. Then there's the set craft part, which is knowing when to you know, like to where to there's a mark on the thing, you've got to hit that mark, and you can't be doing this. Right? Because it just looks unnatural. I'm looking for the mark and I'm doing that. So just knowing that there's a mark there, and you know, you're being able to hit that every single time without looking down. Knowing if you're in someone's light, you know, if you're making a shadow on someone, you get out of their light and everything like that. It's all of these things that go to being a professional actor and knowing, you know, how to behave on a set and everything. You know, so. And now I've lost what the actual question was. What?
The differences between Australian productions.
That was a bit, so yeah, I told him, you know, that's the difference. And then when you get used to that, you come back to Australia and they go, okay, we're going to like the scene. Bernie, can you stand? I'm like, oh, where's the second team? Have we got a second team in here? No, Bernie, we don't do that in Australia. You get to fucking stand there yourself. All right, Jesus. I mean, I wouldn't do this in LA, okay? All right, seeing as it, no, I'm not really like that, but yeah. So you know, there are some of those sorts of things, and there is also there feels like there is a much more of a hierarchy here in terms of the actors. You have a number on the call sheet. You're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. And you know, number 1 on a call sheet is always like, you know, there is a real apex, and there's a kind of it is a hierarchy, you know, and that's how you have to treat people. Whereas on Wentworth, for example, like I was saying, we're a real family, but it was a real ensemble. There was not one person that's like, I'm the star of this show, and everyone else. I mean, even Danielle Cormack, who I guess when you look at her, Bea Smith's kind of trajectory, she feels like she was the focus. There was a focus and stuff. But even Dan was never, you know, I'm number 1 and you guys are sort of subservient in some way. It was always a really open, collaborative, and the word generosity. It was a generous place to be, because as an actor, I feel like you have to be generous, meaning, because like, you know, when the camera's looking at you, you're kind of giving everything to try and, you know, do everything for your character, and then the camera comes around and looks at the other person, and some people just don't give quite as big a performance. But I'm always like, and what the setup was on Wentworth, everybody would give as much in performance to the other person to be able to act off when they're on screen as what you would expect to get when you're on screen. So that was why it was a really open, collaborative and generous environment that we were all working in. Yeah.
Great question. Give it up for Miss Libby Tanner! Let's get Libby's mic up a little bit on this side.
Is everybody awake? Anybody get to sleep last night? Good. How much concealer did you girls put on? I can't put any more on.
Well, you look great. You sound great. We're going to get right to the Q&A. We've got a lot of people lined up to ask questions. We're going to start on the right and go back and forth. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, Libby. I'm Danielle from New York. I actually met you on video chat. First off, I just wanted to thank you.
Where are you? I can't. Danielle.
Yes, we actually met on video chat. I just wanted to thank you first off for coming, and we all appreciate it so much. My question is, what scene specifically that you remember was very emotionally tolling and kind of you brought it home with you and you're like, wow, this was hard to film and make believable?
Well, I'm just watching that tidbit of it then, I was thinking, God, to be 42 again, honestly. You look fantastic, no, we're looking brilliant now. Somebody did say to me, one of the girls did say to me, it's the bottle of wine, you know, you put it down and it ages beautifully. Oh, can you drink it as you go along? The scene that was most taxing, I think, and I've expressed this one before, is the scene with Nicole, and they realise that they have to let each other go, and they've worked so hard to you know, to keep their love together and to support one another in there. And it was just so clear to Bridget on that day where she just said, "You're not going to let me go." And she said, "Yeah." And it was really hard because they had to, I remember thinking and telling the director, Fiona, "Well, can you shoot me first?" And I'd never done this as an actor and pushed it out there. You know, "Can you shoot me first?" But I really thought, I'm going to lose it if you don't turn it around now, because it was a lot of thinking about that scene and a lot of pent-up energy. And I'm glad they shot me first. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to peak. It was really emotional and...
Great question, thanks a lot. We're going to go over here to this side. The top dog on the left, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Lexington, Kentucky, and I was just wanting to know if you did any kind of research on prison psychology or anything to take on this role, or?
No, I didn't. I haven't researched any role that I've ever played. I leave that up to the writers. I trust the writers and trust the script too. I think there's a real rhythm with the script, and when you have it sitting in front of you, you read it over and over again, and it just, from our experience and our perception of the world thus far, it just kind of falls out. And so I think everybody has, you know, a great big heart that can be broken and can be stressed and can be challenged. And I just bring that to every part, but especially Bridget, because she was so lovely to play. She could be there and facilitate all the realness of these women who were just surviving in there and who had all these masks on. And they were in prison, you know, not really being themselves until they got to her room. And when they got to Bridget's office, they got to meet the real women, you know.
Oh, awesome.
And I thought that was fabulously written. And, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. Today's my girl's birthday. If you could wish her happy birthday, it'd be great.
Happy birthday! What's your girl's name?
Her name is Lane.
Hey, happy birthday, Lane! There you are. How old are you today? 22. Oh
yeah. 22, so high. All right, on this side, go ahead. Happy birthday, Lane. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Holly, and I'm from Indiana. And I do have a question, just one. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what was it like being in a relationship with Frankie?
Have we met Nick yet? Have you seen Nick yet?
We're saving her for last. Making them earn it.
So nice to see Nick again, because we haven't seen each other for some time. To be reunited today is absolutely wonderful. Fabulous working with Da Silva, and I think Frankie and Bridget had the X factor, don't you think? And that's kind of something that you don't really, can't really express or understand until you're on set and that it happens within the scene. And we trusted one another enough to just turn up and let the dialogue sort of fall out and see where the scene would take us. And we did have that X factor, we had that chemistry, and we watched it back and thought, these two really look like they're in love and they're having a really kind of reliable, beautiful relationship. And it worked, and it's interesting to me because, you know, sometimes you get to work with people that you know really well, and I've never met Nicole before. And some people that I knew terribly well, who I thought, oh, this is just going to look lovely on screen because we've got that friendship there already. It was just would bomb, you know. Isn't that interesting? And then, but for us, no idea who she was, and there you go, and the producers went, I was only supposed to be there for 4 episodes. So 4 seasons later, thanks to that chemistry. So it's a great question. Bridget lived on and became Bridget. So
So basically, you helped me with my sexual awakening, yesterday I got to propose to my hot girl in a hot car, Kristen.
Kristen, and what's your name again, Lon?
Olivia.
Olivia and Kristen.
Yes.
And Kristen's here?
And Kristen's here.
Hi, Kristen, stand up. Was it a yes?
It was a yes. But it was a solid yes.
I guess.
That would have been super awkward.
Right.
So she's still big.
Maybe this was like the second try. See how you feel tomorrow. I've got more.
Right, so my question is, how do you feel being a staple in the LGBTQIA+ community?
Well, I love the LGBTIQ. I usually have espressos to wake up, and they've only got percolated back there, and I don't think it's quite done. Not kick in. I love it. Look, a lot of my dear friends in Geelong and Melbourne, especially Sydney, I have a lot of gay friends, and they're in the theatre. I did the theatre for 10 years before television. I never thought I'd be, part of television because I was so entrenched in the theatre. And there's my family, it's just growing up with my friends, and especially playing Zoe on Pacific Drive, which was my first show. That was funny. I didn't think I was going to get that one either. They said, she's interesting. And perhaps, like after 4 auditions with a fake tan up in Queensland, perhaps give her the lesbian role, maybe she can just do that. And that's how, it was like it was palmed off to me, but I was ecstatic for this role. I was like, she's got squinty eyes, she's got a bit of a long nose, just give her the lesbian part. I don't know about my European, family, what they think about that. My Spanish grandpa was very squinty and full-lidded. I didn't think anything different. I guess what I'm trying to say is when I got there, there was all these reporters saying to me, what's it like to kiss a girl? Oh my God, you're all right. And I went, what do you mean? Is something going to happen? Is something happening? Do I turn purple or something? It's just the same as kissing somebody you're in love with. It's just the same story. And I'm an actor, I read these lines. And I read it for love, so that was back then. So we have progressed, we've come to Wentworth, and it's 20 years later, or 25. And nobody asks me that question anymore, so I think it's, here we are today, and I'm so proud to be part, and to stand up wherever I can and say, of course, love is love,
Thank you.
Congratulations. I love what, oh my God. I love watching it. And fuck you.
You will always be one of my Wentworth loves. And you and Frankie, I will call you Gidge. You will be Gidget forever. I'm there. My question is if you had any work, if you were one of the writers, would you have written your script any different than the way that it ended?
Yes. Than the way that it ended?
Yeah. Or would you have changed any of your character in a script if you were the writer?
I guess I would have liked to have known a bit more of Bridget's background.
Yeah.
They hinted at a couple of ideas that happened in her 20s and perhaps a couple of loves in her past, but it was a lot left up to imagination. But again, Bridget was only supposed to be there for 4 episodes. So they were kind of riding on the run with her, and I'm just glad I didn't get shivved. And I'm just glad that we drove off into the sunset and we're still alive, and Nick and
Yes.
I are going, where's the spin-off? For God's sake, it's
Well, I love you, Gidget. I love you, Gidget.
Well, if we say it all together, 1, 2, 3, spin-off. You ready? 1, 2, 3, spin-off! Thank you for that.
Get your Gidget!
Get your Gidget!
Thank you so much.
And did you realize that because of that character, a lot of people in Australia seek trauma therapy now because those Wentworth women were tough and you were compassionate in that role, and it's affected, you know, the whole LGBTQ young people.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, it is. And good for you and good for the writers, and spin off.
Absolutely, and that's the thing that Wentworth, you know, showed, is that everybody's a human being, you know, and okay, that they're behind bars, they've done whatever the deed that they've done to get in there, but really what Bridget saw and was able to give to that show was that we got to see the person first, and that's how I played her. I wanted to see the person first, because everybody can end up in a situation that can end you in a prison sentence, and you know, from your background, some sort of conditioning of, and it's not really your fault. You're not a bad person. Even the murderers on Wentworth, Ferguson. we gave her a few, you know, wild cards, and she. That was a love-hate relationship. It really was. Dear Pam, isn't she bloody fantastic? Oh my
God. My name is Jerica. I'm from Michigan.
Hello, love.
Hi. Bridget and Frankie were two of my favorite characters from Wentworth, and with their storyline ending in season 6, I almost felt kind of like grieving their loss from the show, and felt a little sad to continue watching it. I'm just kind of curious, as an actor, how do you feel like once your storyline ends?
There is a sense of grief, for sure. You go home and, you know, start making dinner again for the kids and start doing the school run, and you just think, hey, where's my woman? Especially when there's another, you know, forensic psychologist comes on set, you go, hey. Come on, I thought there was more love than that. No, that's television. Things wrap up and move on, and you embrace that as you get older, and you look forward to the next thing. And I look forward to that next thing. I wasn't even thinking that, but of course. Here we go. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. I would love to do that. I want to see that happen. I think that can happen quite easily with all of us behind that.
Well, guys, make some noise for Libby.
So I've got like bear goggles on, so you all look amazing. Hey! Thank you, Scott. Nice to see you.
Good to see you again.
Hey, yes! How amazingly funny I hear! Fuck yeah! Holy shit, I finally made it! I'm so excited, of course. I'm super sorry that Sox isn't able to be here, but please give him a massive shout out. Socratis! And I said, hey, do you want me to phone you so I can say hi to you? And he's like, I can't even speak, so... But he does send his love to you all. He's incredibly upset he can't be here. But I'm here in spirit with him. And with you too. Hey, sorry, no, Scott, he's like, oh, fuck, she's going to go out there and I'm not going to be able to get my questions in. Oh my God, I just need to go nervous poos now. Do you get that thing where you go, I need to go nervous poos? I'll see you in like 20. So I got here yesterday. Bernie and Nicole and I went out last night. So I'm feeling a little furry. I've got the, is it Chi-Town? Yeah, I've got the Chi-Town furriness going on. Not down there. Got a bit of that too, just Chi-Town furriness down there. But other than that, yeah, like I said before, it's super great to be here, and there's such a great energy in this room right now. I can feel it already. Fuck yeah! It's so great to be here. I know, thank you so much for all of your patience. And you know, I know that a lot of you would have bought tickets, what, 2 years ago or whatever. That, you know, like, but, you know, sometimes when you wait, good things come to those who wait. So, I know I'm certainly grateful that we can be here now.
Cheers to Danielle one more time. So, we have lined the walls. All of these people are waiting to ask you questions. I'm not going to take up any of your time.
Questions? I just want to stand up here and talk.
We're going to start over here on the left side. Go ahead with your name, where you're from.
What's going on? Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
So, my name is Lisa. I'm from Wisconsin. And I know all these people are going to ask really great Wentworth questions, so I'm going to go personal. Which do you prefer between your legs? Harley Davidson.
Oh yeah.
Sportster.
Yeah.
Or a Ducati proper.
Oh,
speed.
Oh, okay. So a motorbike question.
It's a total motorbike question.
For all of those who don't know, I love riding motorbikes. And I'm thankful to still be standing. I've had a few crashes in my life. And you know what? I'm not such a... I ride Harleys because I'm an ambassador. But I don't mind, like, you stick me on a postie bike, that's fine. You know, I like it just being on 2 wheels. That's kind of cool.
Awesome.
Are there any riders in the house? Fucking heaps. What's going on? You need to take me around Chicago. We need to go for a ride. But thank you for that question. I don't mind anything between my legs. I'm getting a bit old now. At that menopause point, I'm like, oh, what's going on? Not much. Oh, class 2? Who's in the menopause right now? Fucking right? What is that shit about? No one tells you about that. They're like, oh yeah, okay, but you're cheap, da-da-da. You hit menopause, it's like, oh gee, thanks for that. Thanks for that one. No one told me my vagina would be dragging on the ground when I was 50.
Next question's going to be over here on the right. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
My pineapple. So I should say pineapple drink. I'm sorry. Hi.
You're fine. My name is Sierra, and we
Hi,
met
Sierra.
at the New Jersey Wentworth Con, and I told you I wanted to be a producer and director. Last year I got hired as a producer and director at a production company.
Names.
So,
give it up for Sierra.
Of course, my question is production-wise, what's your favorite thing about being on set?
The people. I'm a people's person. I love being around people. Without people, the world wouldn't be spinning in the way it does. We need to relate to one another in whatever form, whatever way. I'm beginning to sound like a tele-evangelist or whatever. We need to relate to the people. Whatever way, whatever. Hold on. Haven't been getting much acting work lately. it's all about connection for me. You can't. Alone. I'm my own worst enemy. If I'm sitting at home alone, I'm just like, oh God. I love being around people, and especially in a creative environment. I'm working with people and creating stuff together. I just love that. That's why Nicole and I work really well together in our company, because she's a creative entity as well, and we just bounce with each other. Love it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question's going to be over here on the left. Go ahead. What's your name and where you're from?
No, I love your mask. I was saying to me, I can see a rainbow mask. Thank you. It's a good one. Hi.
Over here.
Hi.
What's going on?
My name's Amber. I'm from Delaware. You are my favorite bitch ever. I love you.
This is the only time I get to be some kind of like rock star, so I'm milking out.
My question for you is, when you and Allie had gotten together, how was that? That was my favorite ever.
You know what I really loved about that storyline? Was it allowed me not only to experience something I don't think Bea had ever experienced, because I was in the skin of that character. After 4 seasons of being in this woman's world, created by all these writers and costume people and me, you start to, for me, it's like I really started to vibe with her. And I hadn't had that experience with Bea, of being coy and turned on and stimulated by someone else. All of her experience with other people was violence or manipulation or, psychological abuse. So for me to be in the skin of her and have that kind of, oh my God, I've been touched like that, or it was like the first kiss, and I got to experience that too, so it was kind of nice for me. I haven't had that since I was like, I want to say 16, it was probably like 12. Started early, no judges. Remember, vagina on the ground, no judges. We're all human.
No judging.
Do you want to stand up? Hi, nice to see you. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Danielle.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Margaret from LA. I'm here with my beautiful wife.
Where are you, beautiful wife? Stand up, show yourself. Hey.
We got hooked during the pandemic. I love your damn energy.
And you're still together? After the pandemic?
Oh, yeah.
Give it up for these people. Who stayed together during the pandemic? Who did it? Me. It's woke up from my partner. Ugh. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You talk about being in Bea's skin. And Bernie talking earlier about you guys reading the scripts and really kind of going along that journey of like, oh my God, oh shit. Were you just as upset when Bea died? I mean, I really was so bummed out that we didn't get to explore more of the Bea.
Yeah, I felt like it was a massive shock when I got told that Bea was dying. Like, it was 2 weeks out from when I was finishing shooting anyway. Why are you laughing?
I think we just spoiled it for one person.
That's not my fault.
No.
That's hilarious.
To be clear, it is that person's fault.
Okay, who hasn't seen the full
A
series
seminar
yet?
about a show that haven't finished.
Who hasn't seen the full series yet? No judges.
I need another beer, Danielle.
Damn, it's the best. What a spoiler alert.
Hey, you know that she dies, you don't know if she comes back or not.
I don't really die, but I do, kind of. Yeah, just a little stabby action. I was really shocked when I first heard that. I was like really shocked. I was like confusion shocked. And I went to the producers. I was like, hold on, why? Can you tell me why? Because I can't fathom it. I don't know why you want to kill this character off. And it wasn't necessarily me as for the character. My producer's brain went on, and I was like, why are you doing this? And then hearing their side of it in terms of the longevity of the series, of, they were like, we want to keep making the show. So I hadn't thought about it like that. I thought we didn't even think we were going to make it past 3 series. I was only an option for 2. Then they were like, we're going to do a 3rd, and we're like, cool. 4th, cool. 5th without me, bitches. And And it kept going, and I was like, but that makes sense. You have to get fresh blood. And it did invigorate the show. It was disappointing, it was very sad, but it invigorated the show. And it allowed new blood to come in. You know, and I, frankly, like, it still doesn't. Yeah, but TV shouldn't sometimes. It has to make us angry. It has to make us feel ripped off. It has to make us feel moved and, you know, and angry and joyous and everything. That's why we keep tuning in, right? Yeah. But I still think I should have come back in the last episode. Just like this, kind of like. I'm back, bitches. And Mama loves some freakiness. I think I should come back and just like slipped on a black leather glove. And killed the fight. No, like, I think Pam was amazing. I think, you know, like, but I think that should have happened. Don't tell anyone. But no, but just one episode where I come back and kill the freak and that's it. And sing. You don't know me. Am I wearing you guys out? You're like, oh, for God's sake. What's your name?
Joy.
Hi, everybody. This is Joy. I wish I knew how to sign, but thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, what's up?
Hi, my name's Riri, and I'm from Texas, but born and raised in Louisiana.
Yeah. I love that everyone goes, yay, or, oh.
My question is, other than your character, is there a character that you, like, if you got in the writer's room, you would be like, yes, let me write for this character?
I would like to play the love child of the freak and Frankie. And just call it Freaky. It's like Freaky. Like, acts like the freak, looks like Frankie. Best character ever. There's a spin-off. Like Frankie just walking around in black leather gloves. And we just take it from there. It's fucking brilliant. And it's like a sort of a Killing Eve vibe. You know, like a Killing Eve, Frankie, freak, everything. I could roll it all up into one. Be brilliant. And I play the role. I really wanted to play the role of Frankie. When I first read the script, this is before anyone was cast, just on paper, so there were no faces to the characters. I related more to Frankie. I did just my personality, not Bea. I related much more to that. Now, the fact that Nicole has played Frankie, I would never, like no one else could play that character. At all. Like, it's just the perfect character. And she still remains, and I'm completely biased because she's not only one of my very dear friends and a fantastic business partner, but I also have a huge crush on her. And from the first day that I met her, every time I was in the scene with her, I was just like this. And she'd be like, hello, can we do the scene? And I'd be like, she's created a phenomenal, iconic female character. Yeah. On screen, anywhere, anytime. You know?
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the scenes where there is blood, like when you get sliced on your forehead,
yeah.
Or like when Frankie's getting her breast cut by Jax, or the steam presses, because you have a box cutter coming at you, and it's how do you, it literally looks like you're getting sliced in the face. So how do you is there a package of
so all of that stuff is very technical, and you know sometimes when you've got a lot of money you can do that stuff with CGI. Our show didn't have a great budget, which is why it looks a bit trashy sometimes. But that's the beauty of it, you know. But I'm talking comparatively to like an American style television or American show. You probably have maybe 3 times the budget that we had. So that kind of stuff, like, you know, it's all just a matter of smoke and mirrors. You know, like they might shoot the first part of that scene and then they'd call cut and then they'd rig like a little scar on me and then they'd roll again and then they'd. So if you look at the editing of stuff, you know, it's the magic of television. And like. There's a lot of shows or, you know, like behind the scenes of shows that you can, movies that you can watch all that stuff and find out if you want to break the you know, the suspension of disbelief.
Was that a real box cutter? Like,
no, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that just for my aunt.
Okay.
No, a lot of that stuff, like safety is paramount on a set, and there's been some pretty crappy things that have happened in the last year or so. You know, there was a horrible, yeah. So even more so now, you know, all that stuff, you're going to have rubber things and like, you know, I mean, that's why you see, like, I hated this. You can see the padding I'm wearing, and when I get stabbed, suddenly I'm like, and then I'm like, well, Bea suddenly had 15 million burgers in the space of 30 seconds. She comes out, she's like, rolling in it. Because I had to wear so much padding. And I'm like, don't, you know, they've got retractable stuff and, you know, it's all that. I think the biggest scene that I had to shoot that was really technical and very difficult in terms of, you know, like trying to get it right was the and I hope I'm not triggering anyone here, but the wrist slitting scene. Because we had to rig up all these blood bags and, you know, it was just, and you don't have much time. It's not like you've got hours and hours and hours to shoot these scenes. You've got to do it pretty quickly. But that was technically very, very hard. And also the stabbing of Jax in the neck.
Yes! That was women.
It was stupid. One minute I'm getting a little splatter of blood, next minute I'm carpet. Like, that was a bad period.
I know your character was very emotionally trained to act, I'm sure.
Oh, you were saying it was emotionally trained to watch.
Playing an abused victim going into a woman's prison, I mean, that's emotionally... But how did you physically prepare for it? I mean, you got bashed all the time, and then the freak tried to drown you. Come on.
Yeah. So I love the process of researching characters and becoming a character. Not becoming, it's actually just finding, like I said before, finding those parts of me that relate to a character like that. Now, you know, like, sadly, I have been in relationships where it's been pretty shitty. So I was able to kind of have a little bit of that, but also I did a lot of research on domestic violence. Sadly, you know, still rife in our communities. And, you know, I'm happy to be an advocate against anything, coercion, domestic violence or anything, which is, once again, Amanda does a lot of work through Heartspeak of working with women that have been in that situation. But for me, I love doing things like, what perfume would she wear? Does she wear perfume? How does she dance? Does she dance? What's her favourite song? So for me, for Bea, she was a complete Adele freak. Hello? I don't think that song came out at that point, but I thought she was like, rolling in the deep. Like, she was like, she was a bit sort of, I'm not saying that Adele is trashy, but she was kind of a bit sort of trashy. You know, like, her hairdressing salon wasn't the height of fashion, you know? So I just, you know, I danced, I tried to get into her body like that, you know, but with the domestic violence stuff, all that stuff when you're shooting it, it's very uncomfortable for everyone. And, you know, the people want to shoot it very quickly. You know, the scene in the kitchen and the kitchen table, for me, you could hear a pin drop. Because the rest of the crew and the cast, they have to shoot it, and no one really wants to shoot it.
I just want to say, from a domestic violence survivor, you helped me.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you. And I get a lot of that, and that's for me is another thing, you know, what is the best part of the job? Not just meeting people, but hearing stories back. Hearing how, you know, a storyline has helped you, or moved you, or activated you in ways that you haven't been before. And to me, I just go, fuck, yes, that's why I do this. Like, that is amazing. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure there's a few people in this room that have had that similar experience. Once again, sadly. You know, my heart goes out to you, and, you know, for me, I take this responsibility of playing those characters with, you know, a huge weight of responsibility. You know, and I'm a funny little fucker, but I'm also not. I'm also not. I'm a very serious half-hour person too, and to me, that stuff is a great responsibility, and I don't mess around with it. Yeah.
Give it up for Danielle, everybody. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Stand on your feet, make some noise. We're rolling over.
I love you all. I'll see you in the follow-up. Before I take the table, thank you so much. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for all your questions. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you all soon.
Give it up one more time.
I love you all.
We're all lesbians.
Question of the day right there, so
yeah. Anyone following that, good luck.
Let's try it over here on the right. What do you got?
Hello, I'm Emma and I'm from London.
Hello, Emma.
So, my question is, obviously we've seen the deleted scene pictures of you and Bridget, like when you thought the season was going to end. So are there any like deleted scenes or things that didn't make the final cut that you wish they made in that people could see?
I don't think there was a whole lot that didn't make it in. But did you see the photo where Bridget and I were standing with Vera's baby? Yeah! Did you see that? Yeah! Okay, so we shot this whole scene, and Vera's got this baby, and it's all happy families, because we thought the show might end there. And but then it didn't, it kept going and going and going. I decided that Frankie wasn't really comfortable with babies. So in the scene, Bridget's like, here, have a baby, and I'm like, really? That would have been funny, I think. Maybe not the tone of the ending they wanted, but funny.
Thanks for the question. Back over here on the left, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lucy from Missouri, and your story was really one of redemption. We really got to see your character grow, but my question is, what was your favorite Frankie to play?
Because we saw a few different Frankies, right? Like we had tough, damaged Frankie, and then she kind of came good, and then we had In Love Frankie. I think my favourite Frankie would probably be Playful Frankie, Cheeky Frankie, and the Frankie who was always a bit of liked for her friends. She was there for Boomer, and you know, we have a saying in Australia called "take the piss," and it just means kind of like goof around, I suppose. Yeah, all the Frankies were fun to play, but that's always good. Thank you. Great questions, everyone.
Over here.
Hi, Danielle. Stacy from Norfolk, Virginia.
Hello, I'm Nicole. Do you want me to go get Danielle?
No.
Happy to.
I have a Pierce and a bad next.
I love this for you. This is good.
I'm gonna recover. In our photo, just a few minutes ago, I held this up. You asked me what it was.
Yes.
It's a U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer's coin. My question for you is,
Whoa.
would you like this coin? It is normally given with a handshake.
Whoa, what?
Yes?
Amazing. I feel like I'm on the Ellen show or something where it's like, take the coin, take the coin. Yes, thank you. I would be honoured to.
Are you going to throw it? I mean, so come on up! Come on down!
I mean, if there's any recovery from getting someone's name wrong, it's by giving them this coin, right?
All right, here's Danielle's coin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's really special. I'm getting spoiled. Call me Danielle all you want.
All right, yes, what gift do you have over here on the left?
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm from LA, and I can actually say I've never resonated with a character the way I do Frankie. Like, the similarities are uncanny, so thank you for that.
Awesome.
But my question is just, is there a scene that kind of resonates with you more than others, that kind of sticks with you even after all this time, like you look back on the show? And is there a scene that really sticks out for you as being like emotionally close and special to you?
Yeah, that kind of hits that trigger,
Yeah,
right?
that hits that trigger, yeah.
I feel you. For me, I think the quintessential Frankie scene was the scene in season 1, episode 3, where her dad comes and visits, and she lays it on the line. And she basically goes, I need you to see me, I needed to be seen, I needed your love, and you fucked up. Sorry if there's kids in the audience, because I did see a couple of them.
I've actually had the same conversation with my adopted mother, so it just really resonated with me.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I read that scene. As soon as I read that scene, I was like, I need to do this. Yeah. Like that, it was the audition scene. And for me, it just summed her up completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
well,
that
she hit me deeply, so thank you for that.
Thank
you
you.
for being here.
Thank you.
Back over here on the right.
Hi, my name is Lori Woods, and I'm from Ohio. And I'm an ASL teacher, and in teaching American Sign Language, facial expressions are so important, so I really drill it into students how to use their face to communicate. I was so intrigued with your facial expressions, and especially the nose wiggle. I could not get away from the nose wiggle. That's it! So I was just wondering if that was something that was character, is that your personal nose wiggle? Or is it Frankie?
I gotta go see my nose wiggle. Am I up there, am I? Yes, okay. I don't know is the short answer. You know, the funny thing is Frankie kind of took on a life of her own. It was like once I had created her and I made choices vocally and physically and psychologically and emotionally about where she was coming from, the rest just happened. Like the tongue thing. Like, thank you for pointing out the nose thing. I didn't know what the nose thing was. But I knew about, like, the tongue thing started to happen. Like, she was a whole other beast that took over my body. And I am so grateful. Thank you.
Next question over here on the left.
Hello, Nicole. My name is Stefania. I'm from LA.
Hello.
First off, thank you for everything, for the show, for being here. My question is, what's it like as such a young actress to play so many versatile roles, such as going from Rush to Wentworth to Dr. Doctor to The Tangle?
Okay, well, firstly, thank you for saying I'm young. Sorry, what was that? What was that? I feel really lucky, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, Australia is a really small industry and not a lot of the actors do get to work, and there are talented artists everywhere who don't get a chance to kind of express themselves in the craft they choose. So I do feel really lucky that I have had all those roles. I mean, lucky, right? And I hope that even though I have hit 40, I hope that I still have a long career to go and I'm able to keep creating and keep bringing characters to people like you all, you know? Bring that on. Bring it on.
Next question over here.
Hi, Nicole. I'm Lori.
Hi.
I'm here with my daughter for her 19th birthday celebration.
Where's your daughter?
Right there.
Hi, happy birthday! Can we all do a happy birthday, not the whole song, because I'm not going to sing for you because your ears will bleed. But can we all do a 1, 2, 3 happy birthday? 1, 2, 3, happy birthday! Woo-hoo!
So my question, you kind of answered it a little bit, but it's a little more in depth. I want to know, when your character was being developed, how much input and influence did you have on who Frankie became?
A little bit, and then a lot. You know, I think they started off with an idea in mind, and then obviously naturally when they cast it, it kind of morphs and changes. But the whole process of Wentworth was pretty open door, so we could go into the writer's room and go, hey, did you think about this? What about this? Could I do this? And what we were all trying to do as a whole cast was improvise in and around the moments, and improvise without dialogue, and physically to create different reactions and different relationships that then those things were planted and then became whole things. So a small example was one day as Frankie, I was walking through a door and Jackie Brennan, who plays Miss Miles, this was maybe season 1, I think, she was there and she had to, buzz me in and open the door. And she did great cranky face. She did such a good cranky face when she was there, and she was like, shh. And Jackie Brennan is actually really playful in real life. And so I looked at her and I went, come on, Smiles. Give us a smile. And then that became, and then Smiles was Smiles. It became a thing. And I have to say, it's because the cast were willing to play, willing to bounce. And then as it went on, we were throwing storylines in and kind of just trying to be as engaged as possible with it. Yeah.
So my question is, do you wish your character could have come back to see Boomer after Liz died?
Yeah, I think Frankie should have come back as governor. World that existed, but the fact that she had, she was studying law, that she could have come back to defend her friends and to help them. I would have loved to have done that, and I spoke about this earlier. There was so much there in the Frankie character. Season 10! That would be very, very fun.
Next one over here on the left. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Melissa from Maine. And I gotta say, I absolutely love your character, your energy, everything about you. And I want to say that me and my wife of 36 years, we love Wentworth, and we watch it all the time, over and over and over. But of course, my question is the big question. Can you say the line of a hot girl in a hot car in the sunset?
Sure.
Let's hear it, girl!
No pressure whatsoever. It's just every single cell phone in the room.
Thank you. I needed my cue line, people.
Come on!
Okay, so when I act, it's like not in front of this many people. Paint me a picture. I want a hot car, a hot girl. Thanks for this. Thanks for this.
You're so welcome.
I want a hot girl in a hot car, and I want to ride off into the sunset.
Woo!
Please come and drive it with me.
Thank you, Nicole, very much.
Thank you. Thanks for taking my memory back like 10 years.
All right, over here on the right, the next line reading you're requesting.
Hey, Nicole.
Hello.
My name is Sahar. I'm from Jordan, but I live in Texas.
Amazing.
Thank you. First, shout out for you because you raised more than $30,000 for the UN women in Afghanistan.
Thank you to those who did donate because it does make a huge difference. And Emily Moon is in the house tonight. So Emily, made a huge donation as well, and I just want to thank everyone for sending out their thoughts, wishes, and their donations.
So my question to you was, who would you rather, Bridget or Erica Davidson? Thank you.
I mean, this is easy. Both of them.
Next question over here on the left.
Hello, I'm Amy, I'm from London. I just wanted to ask you about the season 3 finale with the fire and the boom, all that malarkey. I just wanted to know, was it difficult for you? Because I'm assuming most of it was done like in editing after, because I sort of do visual effects myself, so I'm sort of aware of like, you can't shoot with fire, because you will die. And rubble and explosions is a bit tricky territory. So I just wanted to know if it was like hard to pretend that it was actually there, and if you remember any difficulties or any struggles you had, or?
I'm not from memory. I think it's all pretty planned out and pretty smooth. And if most stuff is done by visual effects, we'll still get audio sounds. So I'm big on like making sure that those reactions are as real as possible. So sometimes I get the assistant director like with a big plank of wood to like slam something so I can get a proper reaction. What I do want to say about that scene though is in the original script, it was actually Mr. Jackson who carried out Frankie, and the very smart and the very talented Danielle Cormack went into the writer's room and went, this is a show where women are the heroes. And she went, I'm carrying Nicole out. And she did. She is strong. I was like, well done, babe, well done. I think that was a great moment. Yeah, really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question over here on the right, go ahead.
Hi, Nicole. I'm Kira from Ohio. Got some Ohio people here. I just want to say thank you first for being part of such a great ensemble cast. It took a while to get my mom and sister involved in the show. I kept like, you gotta watch it. The accents are rocking. The drama's better than Orange is the New Black. It puts Girl Scout pants. I mean, it's so great. So even being part of a great ensemble, my sister and I and my mom have to say that you're one of our favorite characters. But I do want to say thank you. This is such a great day. I'm 5 weeks out from brain surgery. So it's a great event to get a new lease on life. Yeah. I'm going back under at the end of June for the other side. So just a lifelong fan of you guys. So my question for you is, what was one of the easiest and most fun scenes to shoot, and who provided the most laughs for you on set?
Okay, great question. Before I answer that, can I just say big love to you for your operation coming up, and big vibes. And big
thank you so much. It's been a journey. Thank you.
Yeah, all my love to you. All my love. So the funnest, easiest scene, and who was super fun to work with on set?
Yes. Yeah? Yes.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say Boomer for sure. I mean, we were really lucky. You can't thank me for being part of a great ensemble because I was lucky, right?
Yes.
Like, I was lucky to be there. And they were all fun in their own ways. Everyone has their quirks. Like, Celia Island is hysterical. And her catchphrase is it just me or is it hot in here? And I'm not kidding you, like 5 minutes no matter where we were. If we were outside in the snow, she'd be like, is it just me or is it hot in here?
You know what I mean? I'm getting super hot. Landing, is anyone else hot? Is it just me? I think it's just me. I'm menopause. It's a group of ladies. It's one guy. I'm just going to have to deal with it. I'm having a hot fucking flash.
Is it just me or is it hot in here? And I'm not kidding you, like 5 minutes no matter where we were. If we were outside in the snow, she'd be like, is it just me or is it hot in here? You know, so Kate Atkinson has her own sense of humour, but Katrina Milosevic. And she, the way she kind of created Boomer, I don't know if you have heard this from her and like when you've met her in interviews or anything, but one of the things that she did to create Boomer was that Boomer was like itchy all the time. So she would just go around like randomly picking her butt. But because she was always so in character, you could riff with her when you were in scenes. And I literally would, like someone reminded me earlier, there was that scene where we kind of have a little tiff and then Frankie's trying to make it up to her. And the scene was supposed to end at, you know, are we friends now? Do you love me? And I knew that if I kept going, that Katrina would go along with it. So I just started climbing on her and hugging her and kissing her and trying to get her attention. But I can't say that there's a bad egg among them. Like, we did have, as heavy as it was, we did have a lot of fun.
Cindy from Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm honored because I was able to also come up and ask Gidget a question, and I want to tell you how much, for fuck's sake, I love you, Bridget. I love you, Franky Doyle. You will be my forever Wentworth love. And my question that I'm going to have for you is the same one that I gave to Gidget. If you were a director or had any incline into writing your script for your character, how would you have either extended it or changed any of the acting if you had a chance to write your script to keep you in Wentworth longer?
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of already going on. Like, I left and I went to do the Heart Guy / Doctor, and we were doing whispers about what a Frankie spin-off would look like. And I just thought it was the best idea ever because Frankie is so interesting and so complex as a person. and all of a sudden she's a lawyer with criminal friends. I mean, that drama writes itself, right? So I was like, we have to do that. And I was all about bringing Erica back. Yeah, because I was like, what happens if Frankie's in a courtroom? And I said this earlier, what happens if Frankie's in a courtroom and she's about to go defend someone and she looks over and who's the opposing attorney? Erica! Like, that's hot and complicated. You know, because she's living with Gidget. It's like, it's all messy, and I think messy is good drama. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you guys, thank you everyone. Thank you, Nicole. Give it up for Nicole, everybody. The one and only. Let her hear it on the way out, folks. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you guys so much. Give it up for your cast at Wentworth. Give it up for Danielle. Give it up for Nicole. Give it up for Frankie. Give it up for Libby. You want to say something? Danielle, you want to say something? Get your selfies. Get your selfies. Do you guys want to say anything before we get to the tables?
Hold on.
You want to say anything? She does. No, I'm speechless. No, not really. Hey, I just want to say, firstly, please give it up for Kiana and her team for... But most of all, and thank you to our beautiful signers today, Joy as well.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. And I imagine everyone would like to say this as well, but I just want to thank you all for making it out here. It's snowing outside now. I know that life is up and down for a lot of people as well, so for you to come out here and see us and bring your stories to us and your beautiful selves has been fucking awesome! Thank you.
Cheers! I said it all the time. Cheers!
All right, snap all your pictures all you want. Pictures.
Oh, I can't.
One more time, can we please thank Bernard Curry for jumping on a plane?
Look at this, we're patriotic.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you, Scott, for facilitating this. See you on WentworthCon.
Okay, seat? Yeah, first, second empty seat.